In this video series, I'm going to show you how you can make money using Google Trends. Now, what Google Trends does is it shows you what people are searching for and what people are interested in. And it breaks it all down for you nicely. It's updated every hour. So you can come here and see what the hottest trend is going right now. This is very useful information because if you get on this trend right away and get the targeted traffic to it, then you're going to have lots of people coming to your site. Then all you have to do is monetize that traffic. Okay, so you can see Google Trends if you just go to google.com/trends. You get a screen like this. On the left we have the hot topics, and this is in the USA. On the right we have the hot searches. Now down here you have more hot searches, and when you click on that, it brings you up more that you can choose from. And up here it tells you when it was updated, so 14 minutes ago. You can also change the date and look at hot trends of the past. So right now we are on the 26th of June. In this case, if we wanted to go and see what the hot trends were on June 24th, we can click there and we can see what the hot trends were at that time. Now the thing about hot trends and hot searches is that you want to make sure that you're targeting current trends because that's going to give you the most traffic. Okay, now in order to capitalize on Google Trends, what you have to do is create a blog and blog on these topics. Now to do this, you need to do something in particular. So now what we're going to do is go over how to install our blog. Okay, now it's time to install the blog. Now, there's a couple of ways you could go about this. You could use WordPress or you could use Blogger. I'm going to show you WordPress because in my opinion it's the better way to go, and here's why. First of all, you're going to want to make an impression on people, and you want them to think that you're a professional blogger or a professional news person. It's hard to do that if you're using a free platform like Blogger. And also, with WordPress, there are a lot of themes out there that we can use. And what we want to do in this case is use a news theme so it looks like our blog is a news blog. And that's what we're really after. We need to accomplish this, and it's much easier to do it using WordPress. So what you have to do is get hosting and a domain, which is very little cost. You can get a domain sometimes for just a couple of dollars or $1. And you can get hosting for like $5 a month. So it isn't a big cost to do this, and in my opinion you should use WordPress. So that's why I'm going to show you how to install WordPress. Okay, so just go to wordpress.org, and then what you want to do is download the most current version. So just click on here, and then you want to download the zip. And then just download it to your desktop or somewhere convenient. Okay, and then once you have it downloaded, what you need to do, of course, is unzip it. So if you use a tool called 7-Zip, you can just do a search on 7-Zip, and it is a free zip utility. So what you can do is just do an extract files and then click OK, and it will extract all the folders and files for you. Okay, and then once you open up the WordPress folder, you'll see another WordPress folder in here, and then these are the files that you're going to upload. Okay, so to upload them, what you need is an FTP program for File Transfer Protocol. And you can get a free one again called FileZilla. Just do a search for FileZilla and install it on your site. Let me open up FileZilla here. And when you open it up, you have a screen that looks like this. So on the left side is our computer, and on the right side, this is where our server files are going to be when we connect. So to connect, all you have to do is put your host name in here, which is your domain name, then the username and password that you set up or that the host provider set up for you to sign into your hosting account. You can also use the site manager, and you can enter your domain and your user and password in here, and then it's always available for you to connect to just by going to the site manager rather than having to key it in all the time. Okay, so I've connected to my site, thebestinfoon.info, which is the one I'm going to use. So I need to upload the WordPress files up to my main directory or into my root directory, which is under public_HTML. So I go to public HTML, let's find it in here, and that's where files have to be on this web server in order to be visible on the internet. So I have to go inside here, just by double clicking. Then I need to upload the files inside here up to my site. Okay, so what we do is go to public HTML first, double click here, and then what we do is we select all of these. So Control A selects them all. Then we right click and upload, and that'll upload them to our server. So let's go do that, and then once that's uploaded, we'll come back and finish here. Okay, so those have all uploaded now. Now what we need to do is set up a database. That's our next step. So you go to your cPanel if you're in cPanel hosting, or whatever control panel you happen to have. If you're not using cPanel, you need to go to where you can set up your databases, which is in the cPanel. It says databases. What we're going to do is we're going to create a new database. So let's go to MySQL database. We'll give the new database a name. So we're just going to call it news. You can call it whatever you want, but I'm calling mine news in this case. We'll create the database. Okay, so take this here, the best I underscore news in this case, which this one's called. And the best I underscore in front of it lets the server know that this is our database on this server. So you need to take the whole thing here. And then what I'm going to do is open up Notepad, and I'm going to paste this in here as my database name. Okay, now what we have to do is go back, and we need to create a user for the database. Okay, so we'll go down here, we'll create a username. Again, I'll just call it news. And then we need to give it a password. We could use the password generator here if we want. Okay, and then we can copy this, and then click I've copied it and use the password. You don't have to use a password generator, you can just use one of your choice if you want. Okay, let's add this to the Notepad session here. So this is our password. And our username was the same as the database name in this case. Or will be actually when we create it. We'll create the user. Now what we have to do is add the username to the database. So if we roll down some more here, we can find news in here. And add it to the database news. As you see, I have lots of databases in here. Add. Give it all privileges. And there we go. We now have a database set up. So we're all ready to go ahead with the WordPress install. So now all we have to do is type in our domain name. In my case, thebestinfo.info. Now just a note, I uploaded all my stuff to public_HTML because that is where my server requires files to be visible on the internet. However, your server may be different. So if you're not sure where to upload your file, you need to contact your hosting provider and find out where you should upload them. Okay, so now all we got to do is type in our domain name and continue with the installation. Okay, the first time through it's going to try and create a config file, so that it can configure everything, databases and whatnot, that WordPress needs. So click Create a Config File, and then click Let's Go, and give it our information here. So out of our notepad here, here's our database name. So paste that in here. We made our username the same, so we'll paste that in there. Our password. Paste that in here. Our server, usually localhost, is going to be correct. Now an easy way to check that is go back to the cPanel and then go down to databases again. And then go to phpMyAdmin. And wait for it to load up. You'll see here at this top it says server localhost. Okay, so you know that's correct. And then the table prefix, you can leave that as it is unless you're actually installing multiple instances of WordPress in the same database, which you can do. And if you're going to do that, you'll need to change this for each different installation. Okay, let's click Submit. Okay, now it couldn't create the config file for us because our directory public_HTML cannot be written to, so it could not write this file. So what we can do is we can grab this code that's in here, just do a Control A, and then copy, and then let's clear everything out of this notepad session and paste it in here. And this will be our config file. Let's just save this, and we'll just call it config, and we'll upload this later and rename it to what it needs to be. Okay, now what we need to do is upload that file to our directory and then rename it to wp-config.php as it says here. Okay, so back to FileZilla. Okay, and then on this side, here's my config.txt. Just upload this and then find it over here. There it is, config.txt. Right click and rename it, and then change it to wp-config.php, like this, wp-config.php, and click enter. Okay, and now that we've done that, we can continue and run the install. Just a note, if you didn't get this message here and all this code, then you don't need to do this step because it was able to complete it itself. Okay, let's click run the install. Okay, so it has been successful. Now what we need to do is just put in some information here that it's requesting. Now all it needs here is the site title, username and password that we want to use, and an email address. Okay, now remember we're creating a news blog, so try and think of something catchy here. Okay, so I put all the news that is news around the world. And what you can do here is change the username. Default is admin. If you want to change it, you can do that. Let's call it editor. Okay, and then give yourself passwords here. And they, of course, have to be the same because it's a confirmation here. Then your email address here. Now, here where it says allow my site to appear in search engines like Google and Technorati, of course you want that checked. And then click install WordPress and it will install it for you. Okay, WordPress has been installed and editor and our chosen username. So let's log in for the first time. Okay, our blog is now installed. In the next video, we're going to go over the rest of the setup.